Hey guys, it's Carly, and today I am here to do an update video for both June and July because I didn't do one for June because I kind of just forgot about it and also didn't really have that many movies, and so I got like a couple more movies in July. I mean, it's not the biggest amount, and I've talked about some of these movies in previous videos, but this is just going to be a quick like view of everything kind of meshed together, so hope you guys enjoy it. I'll start with the VHS because I only got one VHS, and that is Carrie. Found this, it says contemporary classic. It's kind of a weird, I don't know if I really like this VHS casing, but whatever. I found it at Goodwill recently and had to grab it because Carrie is one of my favorite movies. It's probably in my top 20. And I recently watched it again and really enjoyed it. It's one of those movies, like, it's actually like 98 minutes long, but it feels like it just goes by so quick compared to other movies that are that long. So it's kind of weird, but yeah, I've always been a big fan of Carrie, and I'm glad to have this. I haven't been picking up too many VHS lately just because they take up a lot of space, and I only want to buy ones from now on that are actually worth it to me, or like classics, or just like older obscure movies in general. So Carrie, that's the only VHS I have. Then moving along to DVDs, we have The Messengers. Some of these are ones that my friend JP was kind enough to buy me, and I really appreciate that. So we have The Messengers, came with a slipcover and everything. And yeah, this is one I used to watch when I was younger. It would be on, I think, Sci-Fi a lot or something, so I would always just leave it on and watch it, and I've always enjoyed it. Like, it's got creepy elements to it. You know, it's just kind of like an average paranormal type movie. It's nothing special, but I've always been a fan of it, and I recently watched this one as well, and I still liked it. It still held up for me. I think it's from like the late 2000s or something like that, so not too bad. Then moving along, we have Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. This is one that for some reason I did not have in my collection and just never really felt like picking up, and I saw it at Big Lots a while back, like back in June I'd say, and figured I might as well just grab it just to kind of continue completing my collection. I only need I think I need 2 more to complete my Friday the 13th collection. I'm just lazy about grabbing these because I know I've seen them all, and like I always like to buy new stuff. But anyway, it's cool to own this so I can pop it in whenever I feel like it, because Friday the 13th movies are ones that I go back to a lot. So yeah, glad to finally own this one. Then moving along, we have Dark Harvest and Escapes, which is a Vincent Price movie, and Dark Harvest is a shot-on-video film from the 90s, I believe. 1990 actually, exactly. Yeah, this is another one that JP, he didn't buy for me, but he just gave it to me because I said the cover looked cool, and he ended up with 2 copies, so he passed one on to me, and I did watch it, and I actually did kind of enjoy it because even though it's like crappy, like shot on video quality, like the acting was pretty good, and you could see that their hearts were all in it. So I do appreciate that, as opposed to like a shitty movie with bad acting. Like, there's no point to it. And then Escapes was pretty cool too. It had some creepy, it was basically like, I don't know if you'd call it an anthology, because yeah, I guess it's kind of an anthology. Like, it had like a bunch of different stories. They weren't necessarily related, but there was kind of like a bit of a wraparound at the end and like the beginning, so kind of an anthology. Had a couple creepy shorts in it that I did enjoy. Some of them were just okay, but yeah, I enjoyed it as well. It surprised me. Then moving along with the DVDs, we have Feast 1, 2, and 3, and I have never seen these movies before. I just watched Feast 1 the other night, and I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great creature type movie, and the only problem I had was it was kind of dark, and it might have been because I was watching it on a portable DVD player, because that's what I like to do sometimes, just lay in bed and have the screen up close to me and watch on my DVD player like that. But of course those aren't the best quality, and I've had the player for like a year or two, so I don't know if it was this disc or from the player, but it was kind of dark and hard to see what was going on at some points. But other than that, it was a pretty solid movie. I hear Feast 2 and 3 aren't the best. They're not much like the first one, but they're still okay. So I'm interested in checking those ones out. So I'll have to do an update on how I feel about them. Then we have 1408, which is a movie I've seen years ago on television. I definitely don't remember all of it because it's a kind of complex, confusing type of movie, but I know I did enjoy it. I kind of remember like how it ended and things like that, but besides that, I can't remember the full movie. I know I did watch the full movie, but it's one that like kind of is out of my memory now because I've only seen it once when I was younger. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out as well again. I think it's kind of long, but it's a good movie, so it'll be worth it. Then lastly, for the DVDs, we have Predator. Yeah, I do want to watch these movies. I am interested because I know a lot of people know about these movies and really like them, but right now it's not one that like I'm like really excited to watch, I guess. Like I have to be in the mood for this one, but I do want to check it out eventually, so that'll just be at the bottom of the list. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to go through the Blu-rays, and like I said, I apologize. I know I've talked about these movies before in previous videos. I should find a way to organize that so it's more exciting when I do the update video and like everything's newish, but for now I'm just going to do it this way. So we'll just go through the Blu-rays real quick, and up first we have Hostel Part 2, and I just watched this one the other night. I have seen this movie before on TV, and like I'm pretty sure I've seen it all the way through, but for some reason like just the scenes with the two brothers and things like talking and like getting background on what's going on, like for some reason I don't recall those scenes, and they're actually pretty important to the movie to make the plot like a little better. So for me, like rewatching this was actually a total surprise. I really enjoyed it on rewatch. And the first one, I don't know if I've seen the first movie all the way through, to be honest. Like, I thought I did, but I might have just seen bits and pieces of it. So I do have to check out the first one once again. And I know I've seen Part 3 because it was on demand or something once a couple years ago. So I've seen Part 2 and 3 and a little bit of Part 1. Didn't like Part 3 too much. I really enjoyed Part 2, and I have to give Part 1 another watch. But all in all, I really do enjoy Part 2. It is not too bad at all. Then up next we have Night of the Demons. Now, this is another one I have never seen and never really knew the plot, actually. I don't think I've ever had this plot, like, explained to me or anything like that. I've seen, like, the cover with, like, the demons and things like that. I know it's a pretty famous cover. Not this cover art. This is obviously the Scream Factory art, but the one with, like, the actual, like, demonized people on it I've seen. So, like, I knew of this movie, and I know a lot of people think it's really great, and so I finally stuck it in the other night, and I agree, it is a great film. I love the Halloween setting type vibe. I love any movie that's like set on Halloween or in October around that time, so I appreciate that. It also feels like a total 80s movie, and I'm a big fan of my 80s horror, so really like this one as well. I would definitely go back and rewatch this one multiple times. It's got great rewatch value, so glad I finally checked this one out. And then up next we have Terror Train, another one I picked up from Scream Factory's sale. And it kind of, like, it's nice that it has a slipcover, but it also kind of bothers me because the other ones don't. So, like, if you put them all together on a shelf, it doesn't look too pretty, but you know, not a major complaint. It is cool that it came with a slip. Anyway, I've seen this movie when I was younger as well. It's one that, like, my mom showed me back when she was into, like, showing me 80s slashers and things like that. And I couldn't really remember how I felt about this movie. And rewatching it recently, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I don't know why. Like, it's just kind of a weird thing. Like, you got the magician and it's set on a train. I do like the shots of the train going by, like, where it just shows the train driving at night. I think it's kind of eerie, and it is a cool setting and all. I don't know, I feel like maybe didn't like the characters too much or the storyline, but I definitely have to watch this one a couple more times to figure out if I like it or not. So for me, it's just kind of average as of now. And then we have Dolls. Never seen Dolls before, was always pretty interested in it just based on the cover and like commercials, previews I've seen of it. So I had to pick this one up, and I watched this one as well, and I really like this one too. Just like a really fun type story, like ridiculous stuff is going on, and like it's kind of creepy too. Some of the, just like seeing what happens to these people in this movie, like it's kind of just unsettling, but all in all, it's a very fun film, and I recommend it if you have not seen this before. I would definitely rewatch this one a lot as well. Then we have Killer Pinata, a horror pack movie, which I still have to get horror pack again. I've been slacking on that. Unfortunately, I gotta make sure I get back on that so I can get this month's or next month's. But anyway, yeah, this was just kind of a fun like horror comedy movie, not serious at all, and I actually really enjoyed it for what it was. It's definitely funny. It did make me laugh a couple times just because of how ridiculous it was. So it's definitely not for everyone because it is so goofy. But yeah, I didn't think it was too bad at all for being a horror comedy type film. After that, we have Deathgasm, and Deathgasm is a movie I've heard great things about, but for me, I was watching it when I was half asleep, so I could not get too much enjoyment out of it because I could not stay awake, so I definitely have to rewatch this one before giving full opinions on it. But yeah, I probably would like it if I paid attention to it more, so we'll have to stay tuned for my full opinions on it. Then we have Children of the Corn Genesis. I know I talked about these movies previously, but yeah, for this one, definitely not a Children of the Corn movie, but definitely a pretty cool story. The acting wasn't too bad, and I enjoyed it for what it was. I haven't seen all the Children of the Corn movies, said that before, so I'm kind of watch this one totally out of order because I think this is actually the most recent one that came out. But with that being said, I did enjoy this movie for what it was. If you don't think of it as being a Children of the Corn movie, the plot is kind of interesting and entertaining. Pretty solid horror movie. Next up, I have a lot of Blu-rays here, I didn't realize. We have The Burning. This is one that I've never seen before, and I still haven't opened it. This was the final one I got from Scream Factory, and I really want to check this out. I've heard like mixed opinions on it. Some people think it's great. Some people think it's just okay and kind of overrated. So I definitely want to check this one out for myself. I feel like it's one that I would personally really enjoy because it's got like that camp summer 80s type flair charm to it. So I really do want to check it out. I'm kind of waiting for another movie night with JP and our friend Matt to pop this one in, so I've been holding off, unfortunately. I shouldn't have picked this one because I really just want to watch this as soon as possible, but hopefully we'll get to that soon and then I can give my little review on it. Then next up we have Saw, the complete movie collection. So this has, I think it's every Saw movie. There might be one missing from it. I'm actually not sure how many Saw movies there are, if it's 7 or 8 now, not counting the one that's about to come out. But anyway, Saw movies I've never been too interested in because I think torture-y things are gross sometimes. Just some stuff doesn't bother me and some stuff does. If it makes me like gag, like I really don't want to be watching it. And I know some of these movies do have really gross stuff going on, but I just watched the first one the other night, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's not too gory or anything, not much torture. It's more like a contained type movie, so I did like it. And I thought I'd seen this movie, but I guess I just made that up in my mind because I definitely did not see it all the way through and never even knew about that plot twist at the end, and that's probably one of the greatest twists of all time, so I did appreciate that. And then Saw 2, I have seen before on TV. They used to play that one on TV a lot when they would have marathons of these films. And I didn't mind Saw 2 either. It's kind of gross. Some parts are like disturbing type parts, like the needle part and things like that, but all in all, I didn't think it was too bad. And then part 3, I remember that one having a pretty gross part in it that I did not appreciate. I remember I was like little, like I was pretty young, and my like neighbor, I went to my neighbor's place. He had a son who I would like play with, and they like had this on TV in their living room, and I was just like so mad that they had it on TV, because I'm just like, I'm a little kid, I don't want to watch this. I like horror movies, but this is just too much for me. So, and then after that, I'm not familiar with any of the other ones at all, so I really do have to give them a watch and suck it up and just watch them, I guess, because everyone knows the Saw movies. So I will get to those eventually. Not really looking forward to some of them, but oh well. And then finally, for this update, we have My Soul 2 Take, and I saw this movie around when it came out, and I recall not being a huge fan of it. I was kind of disappointed with it. It's one where like I felt like the trailer to it kind of made it seem like a different movie than what it was. And nowadays I don't really go by trailers or anything and let that like mix up my opinions on things. But at the time, like trailers were everything. I would always watch TV, and that's how I would know when horror movies were coming out and things like that, and I would get excited. Now I don't watch too much TV, so I don't even know what's coming out unless I see it online. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed with this film at the time, but I do want to rewatch it and just take it for what it is and not like based on my younger mixed opinions on it. So I do need to rewatch this. I don't even really remember what it's about exactly, so that'll definitely be a priority for me to watch soon. So yeah, thank you guys again for watching my little, well, it was actually a pretty big update. I might do this more often, where like I'd go every 2 months instead of 1 month at a time, because it seems like I accumulate more within 2 month periods, especially since I haven't been buying too much lately. So I'll probably start doing that if I don't have much for each month, each single month. It would be easier to just do 2 months or even 3 months at a time and make a huge update, because I think that's funner to watch. I enjoy watching videos like that personally, so I'll definitely start thinking about doing that. But anyway, once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.